Have you ever wanted to give an amazing presentation without ever having to prepare for it? On this week's episode of MasterTalk, I'll be answering just that. Hi everyone, I hope you're all having an amazing week. My name is Brendan, the host of MasterTalk, your go-to channel to mastering your talk, and today we're covering impromptu speeches and how to master them. So let's get into it. If there's anything that you take away from this week's video, it's this. I don't know what I'm going to say next as much as you do. But through my way of speaking, I'm going to convince you that I do, and with practice, you will too. There's 3 things that you need to keep in mind with impromptu speeches. But before I get into a small word of caution, I do not recommend impromptu speeches for beginner public speakers. I think it's much better for you guys to master the 5 tips video, which I'll have in the description, and after that, venture into these. So let's get into it. 3 things about spontaneous/impromptu speeches. The first one is the use of silences masterfully in a way that convinces your audience that you're using them as a way in your presentation rather than as a means to buy time, which is actually what you're doing. The second thing is your ability to show through your nonverbal facial cues that you have been practicing this speech 1,000 times over. Third thing, deviating eye contact. How do you keep eye contact with an audience even if you don't know what you're going to say next? So those are the 3 things. Let's dive into them. First thing, silences. Through my silences video, we learned that exceptional public speakers use silences as a way to enhance their presentations rather than to detract from them. But silences actually have a second use as well, and that use is to help exceptional speakers buy time. Let's use an example here. So let's say I'm the best man for my friend who's a groom at a wedding, and the groom just randomly comes up to me and says, "Okay, Brendan, you need to give a speech about the wedding or the couple." So obviously I'm freaking out. I did not prepare for this speech. But instead of freaking out, I'll stand up, I'll raise my glass, and you know what I'll say? I'll say absolutely nothing for 3-4 seconds so that I can use that time in my head to think about what exactly to say. But here's the thing, what average public speakers do is they stand up right away, they start panicking, they start saying something right away and start mumbling filler words. Whereas exceptional public speakers stand up, raise their glass, and take their time to figure out what to say. That's why silences are so important to master. Second thing, facial nonverbal cues. Whenever I stand up to give an impromptu speech, it looks as if I've been giving this speech my whole life, right? When I look at the audience, when I don't look nervous, even if I have no idea what I'm going to say, that is an exceptional, important skill to master, and it's much easier to do it just by recording yourself and looking at what your face looks like and whether or not you're nervous by looking at it, essentially. Super easy, right? Third thing is eye contact, okay? What average public speakers do when they present impromptu speeches is they look around. They're not sure. They're giving a hint to their audience that they don't know what they're going to say, and they don't know what they're going to say. But when I give impromptu speeches, even if I have no idea what I'm going to say, I'm going to look at you straight in the eye, say nothing, and still pretend as if I knew exactly what I'm doing, even if I don't. But from your perspective, as you're looking at me, you're going to be thinking, wow, Brendan actually knows what he's saying. It's as if he spent years preparing the speech, even if he just gave it off the cusp, right? So summary, 3 things. Silences, eye contact, facial nonverbal cues are the way to master impromptu speeches. Let me leave you off on a final tip. I call it the random word exercise. So this will help you practice impromptu speeches. And the exercise is fairly simple. All you need to do is you get a friend and have that friend give you a random word, any word in the dictionary that you understand. Don't just say a word that's too complicated that you can't really make a pitch out of. So let's use an example here. Obviously, I know the video is recorded, so it's easy for me to retake this video until I get it right, but hear me out anyways. Let's say the word was pants. right? So I'm now going to give a 30-second pitch about pants. So let's get into it. Pants have been used by so many types of people in the world. Whether it's little toddlers or kids buying their first pair, to teenagers buying their 10th or 15th, to adults who just buy it to wear it on a day-to-day basis. Pants are used by different age groups in different ways, and in today's presentation, we'll be tackling the lifestyle changes of jeans and how they've evolved over the last couple of years. Now let's examine that speech I just gave. The first thing that I want to point out is the content that I say doesn't matter, and it shouldn't, because it's an impromptu speech and it's a random word, especially on top of that, right? So that's not the focus. What I want you to focus on is the 3 tips I just gave you. 1, eye contact. No matter what, even if I didn't know that pants was the word and I didn't know what I was going to say, I still maintained eye contact. Number 2, facial nonverbal cues. Despite the fact that I still had no idea what I was going to say, I still maintained eye contact and my face didn't look like I was nervous. And number 3, I used silences effectively so that I could buy time to convince you that I know exactly what I'm saying. Remember, the key message to impromptu speeches is this. I don't know what I'm going to say next, as much as you do. But through my way of speaking, I'm going to convince you that I do, so that with some practice, you will too. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button and be sure to subscribe to the channel as well so that we can increase the reach and bring MasterTalk to more people. And as always, I'm going to end you off on this. If you know one person, one friend that isn't sure how to give spontaneous/impromptu speeches, be sure to send them this video so that they'll be one step closer to mastering their talk. Take care, everyone. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.